My name is Eddie C, and welcome to My Positive Podcast. I'll bring you positive stories of people from all walks of life because everyone has a story to tell. Hi, everybody. I'm Eddie C, and this is MPP, My Positive Podcast. This is a podcast where my guests get a chance to tell about themselves, and we'll pick a theme that not only touches them, but touches you. We're sitting here in Seraphim in Antwerp, and my guest for today is Miss Papo Rouge. She's a stand-up comedian as well as a burlesque dancer. And can you just tell a little bit about your background?
My background, wow, that's actually a lot. At first, I want to say thanks for having me.
Of course.
Well, I'm a stand-up comedian and I also do burlesque, but I'm also a business speaker. I'm a trainer and I give keynotes about humor, body language and presence. Mm-hmm. So it's all intertwined. And my background, actually, I'm a movie student. So I've worked in film before.
All right.
I'm a creative storyteller. That's my background.
All right. So how did you get into that? I mean, because as a child, is that something you always wanted to do?
Not particularly.
Well, let's go.
Well, I've always been a creative child. I had a lot of imagination, but I was also very shy. I was not extroverted at all. But I used to dance a lot in my room, privately, never before an audience.
All right.
And when I was home alone, I would sing. I would sing my heart out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I did like to use humor. Okay. Make comedy sketches like cartoons,
right.
Or play sketches, and I made sketches my own. I filmed it, and then I watched it with my brother, who's my best friend. So yeah, in kind of sense, I already did what I'm doing now, but it was just a bit later in life, in my late 20s. Mm-hmm. I was working in film business because I have a bachelor in film.
Right.
But I always did assistant jobs. They were never creative. And I needed that creative input. And then I had this epiphany when I was walking on the beach. It's funny, I always have epiphanies when I'm walking in nature.
All right.
Like, maybe you should do stand-up comedy. Because humor is a thing that I always incorporated in my life.
All right.
I laugh every day with my friends, with myself. Even when I'm alone, I laugh a lot. Okay. So I need that aspect in my life. And I thought, well, if you do stand-up comedy, then you have a creative input because you can write your own stuff, perform it. You don't need anybody else. You can do it all by yourself. Mm-hmm. And a couple of months later, I had my first gig. And then a year later, I discovered burlesque, which is quite funny because I never was into burlesque. I wasn't interested in the film burlesque or in the Moulin Rouge or even jazz music.
Right.
I didn't even like the clothing style. It was not that appealing to me.
Okay.
Funny, because now I do dance on jazz music and Moulin Rouge style and everything. Yeah. But a friend of mine, she enrolled in burlesque classes. And something inside of me said, maybe you should try it too. And there I discovered that burlesque is the ultimate form of self-expression. You can choose everything, your costumes, your character on stage, if you do comedy or not, right. The music. So I could just make it my own. So I was a director of my own performance.
Okay.
And that's why I loved it so much. My first act was on Britney Spears' music. So that's the music I always used to dance on when I was a little girl.
All right.
And the first performance I had, burlesque, I had the same adrenaline and high like I had with good performances on stand-up comedy. So I thought there is something. I can make connection with the audience. I can just do my own thing. And then I thought to myself, I want to combine these two art forms. Comedy, stand-up comedy and burlesque, but I don't know how.
Okay.
And then years later, it all came into place.
Alrighty. And I noticed on your Instagram, you do a lot of little short video films as well. So you also imply your background is with your film knowledge.
Yes.
Right. And is there like, I haven't seen one of your stand-up comedian shows. I would like to see one when you're going to be in the area, sometime in this area. You're originally coming from Gent or not?
From here, from Antwerp, but
okay.
I moved, with my boyfriend to Ghent a couple of years ago.
Already.
So I'm living in Ghent now.
And how does he feel about your comedy? Because he's into old style cars and stuff, right?
Old style.
The old cars.
Not particularly, no.
Oh,
I don't know. You saw, maybe you saw some photos of when we were in America.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like a program in America, like Hall or something with old cars. And
right.
Well, it's not his particular interest, but he likes old cars, but it's not a...
Okay. All right.
You did some research.
Of course I did some research.
We like old stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like vintage yes, things, nostalgia. He likes the 50s a lot.
Okay.
He likes to see movies from the 50s, but that originated in the 50s.
Okay.
Like new movies, but played in the 50s.
In that era.
Yes.
How do you see your, let's say, your stand-up work, let's say, in respective to what you're doing, let's say, and your burlesque, to what you're doing with your work with the women, because you're helping women to become more secure and empowered with themselves. How do you see that?
Well, I give workshops in burlesque, and we work around persona. That's my thing, theater skills. Mm-hmm. Yeah, burlesque is just about being yourself and not being too much. Mm-hmm. I think as women, we tend to think a lot that we're just too much. And in burlesque, there is no too much. You cannot wear too much makeup or too much glitter or be too much on stage. Mm-hmm. Less is more. It's a saying in burlesque.
Okay, all right.
And it's about presence and just being grounded in the moment. And of course, you have to look at yourself in the mirror. That can be confronting for some. Mm-hmm. But for me, it's the ultimate form of self-expression. And then I learned a lot about myself and accepted myself as a sensual being by doing burlesque. It's something that I suppressed a lot in my teenage years. Mm-hmm. So that's what burlesque did for me.
Okay, let's go back to those teenage years for a second.
Yes.
So you said you suppressed yourself a lot in those teenage years, and the burlesque and the comedy has been for you. Has that been sort of like an outlet of being able to get over that, or is it an alter ego?
When I do burlesque, I'm an alter ego. I'm Papo Rouge. Then I'm a rich housewife from Braschaat. Or she claims to be a rich housewife. And it's a character that plays with false perfection because she wants to be perfect, but she's anything but that. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what would the neighbors say? I like to play with those themes, like the keeping up appearances. Mm-hmm. But when I'm Barbara, I'm doing stand-up comedy. I'm just Barbara. I'm just being me, a bit more blunt version. Mm-hmm. But you can say that in comedy, all the things when you had arguments, or when you let yourself down, or somebody talk down to you, those are the moments in comedy when you have the mic, and you can give the responses that in early teen years you did not do.
Okay.
So it's a chance to put yourself out there.
Yeah, I love stand-up comedian work. I actually did a little small debut myself some time back.
I love your sense of humor, because you sent me a lot of video clips and I really love them, because it's not easy. It's more easy to see stand-up and like it when you see it live, when you have the vibe in the room and the audience. But on television and on YouTube, it's way more difficult to be funny and to like a comedian. So you really have a good taste.
Well, thank you on that. I find humor a good way of bringing people together that feel insecure. because when everybody starts to laugh, you kind of break barriers. You know, comedy is something a lot just like music, breaks barriers. Those are things that creative activities can really bring people closer together, because you start to discover things that you thought only in your case were special that someone else has, and that creates a good
That's what comedy is about. It's about connection, about being vulnerable.
Yeah. What are some of the have you had any like moment where you went on stage and you said, "Oh, I made a complete flop of myself" or something like that?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. All the time.
Yeah.
It's like a string of flapping on stage. Yeah.
You know, but of course, there's the security thing. But does that go back to your childhood as your teenhood as being a bit insecure? Because I know you're also into body language, which I'm also something I'm always studying on people.
Yes.
I'm always watching their movements. So and this sort of insecurity of let's say inside you, is that something that becomes a thing that makes you say, do your little flop on when you flop on stage, or
yes, sometimes I get into my head.
Yeah.
And when I'm in my head, I'm not in the moment. I know when I'm on stage and I do improvising, then I know I'm free, and I'm just having fun. I just want to connect with the audience. When I go on stage, I just tell myself, I just want to connect and I just want to have fun. Nothing else matters.
Okay, that's important.
I like to put things in perspective.
Yeah.
But of course, I'm insecure all the time. But that's what makes you human. I see other comedians, I see other people of all walks of life. They're all insecure, whether they want to admit it or not.
Right.
It just makes you human. It keeps me humble, and it keeps me. It keeps my drive up. That I just want to be better, and I just put it in perspective. Like, everybody is insecure. It's just feelings. I try not to take myself that seriously.
That's good. That's a good.
That's why I'm a comedian. I just love with misery. I love with myself. I love with the audience, but respectfully.
Right. That's important.
Because I'm glad you mentioned it before. Comedy is about putting your ego aside. It's not about status.
Right.
You're not up on stage and you have a mic. So it's a powerful thing because you have the mic, you have the words, you can speak and you can say whatever you want. But the second time, it's more about dropping your ego and showing, like, this is who I am. Let's just laugh at all the misery of life. We're a bunch of losers together. And that's what comedy is about for me. And then you drop your ego, the audience drops his ego, and we're just all the same.
Yeah.
We're in this together.
That's good. My theme for this particular episode is about radiance. And my question to you, how do you see radiance in relative to yourself and how you want to project it?
Radiance is for me authenticity. You can be radiant without being yourself. You have to see performances like burlesque or stand-up comedy. You have to see it live, because when you see a performer on stage, a good performer, everybody can be on stage, but not everybody can be a good entertainer. When you see a good performer, you see their soul. That's why I want to see performances live. And I didn't like the films Burlesque and Moulin Rouge because it's all staged. But the first time I saw comedy live, I saw comedy burlesque live, it's just magic. Radiance is just your outer self, your inner self coming out.
Okay, but how? To get back to my question.
With insecurities and all.
How? No, your personal radiance. How do you see your personal radiance?
Authenticity.
You want to elaborate on that?
Just to play and be free. Then you become radiant.
Yeah, okay. But in becoming radiant, there's this part of you that, how does it affect you on your daily basis? Because it's not only, when you're not being that stand-up comedian, when you're just being Barbara that's not on stage or that's not doing the burlesque? How do you apply that to your everyday life?
The same. Thinking, what do I want now? What do I want right now?
Okay.
And just act on that. And I work really hard on myself. I'm very serious at not taking life too seriously, but it's hard work.
Right.
I'm working on myself, my triggers, my childhood memories and triggers with certain people, and I just try to not involve myself in drama. So I choose my people wisely, and I stay a lot at home to read, watch movies, and I just go out with the people that give me good feeling.
They give
to
you
be free.
They give you radiance.
They give me radiance.
Yeah.
You cannot isolate yourself. There's a difference, but I need to be at home to recharge. But yeah, radiance it comes from within. So I have to take care of myself, like I'm a precious object.
Right. That's always important.
Be vulnerable. I'm at home. I'm very vulnerable, and I'm very interested in the human mind, in my own mind. You have to understand yourself to understand other people. So I contemplate a lot when I'm at home, and I get inspired for ideas. But I just want to be real on stage, and I want to be real at home. But of course, I have different personas. I'm different when I'm doing stand-up. It's more like when I'm going out with friends and I'm drunk.
Right.
That Barbara you see on stage. But I make a click. But that's me. That's me. My real friends know me as that person.
Yeah.
But for other people, I can come across as very shy and introverted because I'm actually a bit more introverted than extroverted. Did I answer your question correctly?
Well, it's not about answering it correctly. It's about answering from out your own vision, your own viewpoint. I have one last question before we close. And because I find it very important how my guests want to portray themselves to a younger generation. And what would you tell someone younger or a younger version of you or how to approach radiance in their life?
Just like I said before, don't take life too seriously. Don't be afraid of your emotions. I work with emotions. I'm on stage as a performer. I turn my emotions into art, but also I'm a business speaker, and I train people to communicate more authentically and honest by using humor, body language, to read themselves and to read other people's body language. It's all about emotions. And I think we approach emotions as a very black and white way. Like either we discard them altogether, we suppress them, or we cling too tightly on the emotions, but there's a balance. It's just data. Emotions are just data. You can learn a lot from it.
Right.
And I don't take every emotion that seriously. And I just try to see life as a game. And I just, for the younger generation, I hope to inspire some. Because life is very beautiful if you just know where to look.
Right.
But you have to put things in perspective. And not take yourself too seriously. And emotions, they come and go.
Right. Well, on that, we'll have a nice smile together. And I want to thank you so much for coming on the show and telling a bit about yourself and your whole projection about your whole radiance and your form of spreading those being vulnerable. You know, that's
the key. Being vulnerable and let everybody know we're just the same.
Oh,
no one's better. We're just at the same level. We're in this together, man.
I also want to wish you a lot of success. I hope to get a chance to see you performing live.
You will. We will see each other soon at the Dinsdag Club.
Right, absolutely.
And I can give you some tips and tricks on your comedy.
Oh, that would be great. Be great. Well, we should talk about that sometimes. Yeah.
We will.
Have a few laughs in the process.
Yeah. You can send me some other clips because I had I had a blast.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. My guest was Barbara Loots, and we were here in Seraphine here in Antwerp, Belgium, and I hope you all enjoyed this interview. I know I did very much, and thank you again. And remember, it's very, very important to show your radiance in life. So on those words, be radiant and stay positive.
This is MPP, and I'm Eddie C.
Let's talk about radiance. Radiance is that special thing that some people have when they're performing on stage. It seems to touch everybody. It captures their attention. But what about the radiance inside yourself? How does that work? It starts with your thoughts, it starts with your goals, and it starts with your heart. And when you can balance those three together like a triangle, you start to radiate a lot of positive vibes. And that's when people start to know how radiant you are, how giving you are, and how much joy you can bring into their lives. And in the process, you're bringing joy into your life as well. So on those words, stay positive.
Dit is een productie van Antwerp Podcast Service.